If you're the quiet one at work, the one who does the job well and still watches louder people get the credit, this is the video I'd want you to find. Because the office is not won by the person who talks the most. It is won by the person who understands what is actually happening in the room. Stay with me to the fifth move, because that is the one that stops people from dumping their work on you without you ever raising your voice. Here is the truth almost nobody tells the quiet professional. Every one of these 6 moves is real psychology, used calmly, and none of them require you to become someone you are not. You do not have to get louder. You have to get sharper. Let's begin. The first move is about the coworker who is always fishing. You know the one. They ask what you got in your appraisal. They ask what the boss said in your one-on-one. They ask, so casually, what you are working on and how far along you are. It feels friendly. It is not. Psychologists call the advantage here information asymmetry. In any workplace, the person who reveals the least about their numbers, their plans, and their next move holds the most room to move. Loud people leak. They announce their raise, their strategy, their frustration with the manager, and they think they are bonding. What they are really doing is handing their whole hand to someone who will use it. The quiet power move is simple. When they fish, you smile and you give them warmth instead of information. Or, the usual, nothing exciting. You stay kind. You just stop narrating your life to people who are keeping score. Warmth is free. Details are not. That is the first move. The second one happens in every meeting you have ever sat in. You start to speak, and someone talks over you. Or you make a point, and a louder colleague repeats it 10 minutes later and gets the nod. The instinct is to rush, to squeeze your idea into the tiny gap before you get cut off again. Do the opposite. Negotiators have a name for the most reliable tool they own, the strategic pause. When you are interrupted, you do not fight for the floor. You go quiet, you let the interruption finish, and then you leave a clean second of silence before you continue exactly where you were. As I was saying, that pause does something a raised voice never could. It signals that you are not rattled, that you were not finished, and that your point did not need rescuing. In a room full of people scrambling to be heard, the one person who is comfortable letting silence sit reads, every time, as the one in control. The second move buys you the room. The third one protects you from the person trying to provoke you in it. Every office has an instigator. The colleague who makes the little dig in front of others. Who baits you in the group chat. Who says the thing designed to make you react so they can point at your reaction. Here is what they are actually hunting for. A reaction they can report. Roll your eyes, snap back, send the angry message, and you have handed them the exact evidence they wanted. The counter is a technique called grey rock. You become boring, flat, unrewarding to poke. Okay. Noted. Thanks for flagging that. No heat, no defense, no show. A person who baits you is fishing for drama, and grey rock means the pond is empty. They move on, because there is nothing there to catch. You did not lose your temper. You simply refuse to be entertaining. That is how you go quiet under pressure. The fourth move is about letting them get you wrong on purpose. There is a phenomenon called the expectation gap. The lower someone sets the bar for you, the more force your real work carries when it finally lands. The coworker who thinks you are just the quiet one, the boss who assumes you will not push, the team that hands you the boring task expecting a boring result. They are all preparing for nothing. And when your work comes in clean, precise, and better than anyone braced for, it does not just meet the bar. It shatters the picture they had of you. Most people make the mistake of correcting the underestimation early, of announcing how capable they are before they have shown it. Do not. Being underestimated at work is a head start that no one knows they gave you. Let them plan for a small player. Then spend the surprise all at once, when it counts, in the room where the decision gets made. Now the fifth move, the one I told you to wait for. This is the one that stops people from burying you in their work. You are the reliable one. So the extra task lands on your desk. The favor, the cover shift, the can you just quickly. And because you are kind, you say yes, every time, instantly. Here is the psychology you are fighting. The scarcity principle. We value what is rare, and we quietly discount what is always available. If your yes is automatic, you have taught the whole office that your time costs nothing, so of course they keep spending it. The quiet power move is not to become difficult. It is to make your yes mean something. A pause before you answer. Let me check what I have on. A clean, warm no with no apology stapled to it. I can't take that on this week. You are not being cold. You are correcting a price. The moment your help stops being infinite, people start to treat it as valuable, and they stop reaching for you first every time something falls off their plate. That is how you stop being the office dumping ground. The sixth move is the quietest of all, and it is the one that actually gets you ahead. There is an effect psychologists have studied for decades called the mere exposure effect. People come to trust, prefer, and choose what feels familiar and low friction. Not the loudest presence. The steadiest one. The colleague who spikes with a big dramatic effort and then disappears is memorable for a day. The quiet professional who is calm, consistent, and easy to work with becomes the safe choice, the name that comes up when trust is on the line, the person a decision maker reaches for without quite knowing why. You do not win the long game at work by being the loudest voice in one meeting. You win it by being the one steady signal in a room full of noise, week after week, until being underestimated is no longer possible. Quiet consistency is not invisible. Given enough time, it is the most visible thing in the building. So here is your playbook. Give warmth, not information, to the ones who fish. Use the pause when they talk over you. Go grey rock on the ones who bait you. Let them underestimate you, then let it cost them. Make your yes rare enough to be worth something. And let quiet consistency do the work that noise never can. None of it asks you to stop being the calm one. It just turns the thing they dismissed you for into the exact reason you end up ahead of them. If any of this felt like it was written about your actual office, then you already know this channel is for you. Subscribe and become one of the quiet ones we are building here, because this is the whole point. They think quiet is a weakness. We are making it your weapon. Tell me in the comments which of these 6 is the coworker you are dealing with right now. And next week we go one level up into the boss playbook, the quiet moves for handling a manager who takes the credit and hands you the blame. I will see you there.